I'll call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call, please.
Councilmember Abdelgawad.
Here.
Councilmember Baker.
Present.
Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Present.
Councilmember Ingert.
Present.
Councilmember Forster.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Townsend.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow.
Present. We have a quorum. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have no presentations and awards tonight, but we do have a personal appearance. We have with us tonight Cynthia Zamardas Lorenzi. Would like to speak to the council. Ms. Lorenzi, if you'd step forward. Step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, please.
Cynthia Zamardas Lorenzi. I reside at 1228 East Walnut, Raymore. And the reason why I'm here is I'm the second house in once you pass J Highway. The speed limit is unbearable. It's 55 as soon as you hit the light. On the south side, it's 45. On the north side of J, I think it's 40, might be 45. On the east side, it's 40. As soon as you hit that light heading towards my house, it's 55. It's like a drag race. And now they have a roundabout. The problem is I have horses. I have a drop-off right in front of my driveway. There's no shoulder on either side of the driveway. And I have a gooseneck horse trailer, which is a long horse trailer. I cannot pull in or out of my driveway. I have to have a friend go in front into the road to stop traffic so I can get in or out. That's how bad it is. And then if I even pull a two-horse out, when they fly over coming from the east, there's a slight hill that I don't think people realize they can't see until they're already over that little incline, that there's somebody pulling out of that driveway. And if they're on their phone, like kids are, even adults, I've had people come up and have to slam their brakes on, and they actually don't think I have a right to pull in and out of my driveway. They throw on their brakes, then lay on their horn, and then, even though there's a double line, they pass. They don't even care if there's traffic coming the other way. I even had someone do it to me yesterday, and I took a picture of the guy's, license plate. I was going to come to the police and give it, and I'm thinking, well, it's my word against his word, so there's no sense. But this is an ongoing thing. In fact, I think there was a kid before I bought the place, like 8.5, 9 years ago, that was actually killed right outside my driveway. So this has been an ongoing thing. I tried to go the normal channels, which was to find out who actually regulated the speed on that road. And I first went to Raymore, and they said, no, it's MoDOT. This is back in August. Went to MoDOT, and they said, they took the whole complaint. It was like an hour on the phone. I called them back about 3 weeks ago, and they said, oh no, the city of Raymore. We gave that over to City of Raymore. We take from Prairie Lane and beyond, wherever the roundabout starts. That's where we do. You're in the city limits, which I was always told I wasn't in the city limits. I said, now I found out I am the city limits. So that's when I came back to the city, and that's where I am. So I think that's my 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Normally, this is just an information gathering type setting, so we thank you for your input.
It really is dangerous. I mean, if I could tell you how many accidents have been on that road, and now with the roundabout, it has not made any difference. And I cannot understand why no one has thought about reducing it. It should be even slower than 45 with that roundabout. It's like a 55 roundabout, then 55, then an immediate roundabout, 55, an immediate roundabout. It's like nuts. So,
Okay. Well, thank
Okay.
you.
all right, thanks.
We now move to staff reports. Mr. Furborn.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask Mr. Krass to make a staff report for Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In addition to my written report, we did have some work scheduled at the Huntsman and 58 highway intersection to work on the crosswalk. Looks like the weather is not going to be cooperating this week. We did notify the abutting property owners. We'll put something out on social media once that work gets rescheduled. That concludes my staff report.
Mike, I saw some street machinery on Dogwood kind of positioning today. Is there a project out that way that we've got going?
I think we're doing some work on Birchwood, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Krass at this point? Mr. Holman.
Perhaps for him or Mr. Furborn, we're going to have we haven't done our winter plan work session yet, have we? Or have we? I can't remember. Normally you just kind of outline, it's probably the same.
Staff has done theirs. We had it just last week, sir. And then they had a follow-up meeting with me alone, yours to follow.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now that I have all the details.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Any others? Okay. Mr. Furborn.
Thank you, Mr. Grass. Mr. Mustine for Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, members of the council, I've submitted a written staff report. Just a couple things. Wanted to say thank you on behalf of myself and my superintendents for the opportunity for some additional training. We got to travel to Dallas 2 weeks ago for our national conference. So we just appreciate the council and the park board's willingness to let us do those types of things for continuing education. And then also just a quick announcement of our Veterans Celebration coming up November 9th at Centerview at 4 o'clock. We're doing something a little different this year in the weekly report last week. It'll continue to be in this week, and then on Facebook and our website. We're taking nominations for local veterans. There's an application for theirs, so staff's going to do something kind of unique and just honoring those of our residents who are served our country. So look forward to having that. If you know anyone, please go and fill that out, and we'll take care of the rest. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Nathan. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Mustine? Yes, Mr. Holman.
More of a statement, if you'll really lean on Councilmember Townsend. He said he'll get us the Marine Corps Band and the Marine Corps Drill Team. He didn't say what year, but that'd be a pretty cool show.
Yeah, no pressure.
Well, pressure's off. We have the American Legion Band this year, but you're on for next year now. It's been in public.
Very good. Thank you, Nate. Mr. Furborn.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine. I would ask Ms. Harmer to make a report for communications.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. In the next few weeks, the citizen survey will be sent out to a random sampling of Raymore residences. This survey is conducted anonymously through the ETC Institute every other year, and we've been sending this out since 2006. There was one time where it was 3 years instead of 2. But the goal is to obtain 400 surveys, and in 2021, we received 425. The responses that we receive help us to strategically plan for the future, used in making decisions that when it comes to prioritizing resources, guiding where we're going to go in the future, as well as helping us to take a look at areas where people say that we can improve. So the survey measures things like overall satisfaction with our city services, perceptions of the city, satisfaction with specific city services such as public safety, our public works, communications, parks and rec, code enforcement, customer service, and transportation. And the survey also measures our current survey results against last year and then all the way back to 2006 when we first started putting out the survey, as well as comparing us to the national average for a lot of these things. So in the end, we get a 150-plus page document that helps give us a little bit of direction for where to go next. So hopefully everyone will be looking out for that. And I know last time we actually won an award from the ETC Institute, and then people were saying, what is this survey? I've never heard of it. Well, it doesn't go to everybody, but if you want to find out more or see the survey results from the previous years, we have all of those on our website at raymore.com/survey, so anyone can learn a little bit more, but hopefully, if anyone gets those in the mail, please take them. It really helps us to make plans for the future. And that's all I have for you this evening.
Anybody have anything from Ms. Harmer? Melissa, I know last Friday night the weather kind of turned sour on you. How'd the turnout go?
Considering that it was very cold and windy, it was a pretty decent turnout. Mr. Baker was there. Wow, you tan from Florida. Sorry. And so it was really fun. Even though it was a small crowd, everyone was very enthusiastic. It was really cool. It was really interesting to see. We had a 6-piece mariachi band, and we had 10 of the traditional Mexican folklorico dancers, and they kind of swapped off back and forth with their performances, and we had the El Dorado food truck.
Right.
Everyone was fed. It was really nice. I couldn't help but notice that this past Friday was much nicer.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, and we hope that we can have them back again in the future.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Feuerborn?
Thank you, Ms. Harmer. I would ask Mr. Zur to make a report to the council this evening.
There was one?
My apologies. I thought we were going to do that when we came to it on the agenda. You'll see in the packet this evening the approval of a lease agreement with the youth scoreboards. There's a Scrivener's error that has been included within it that needs to be addressed. It will be addressed before the final approval. It's a reference of an expiration date on 2023. It should be 2033 for the 10-year term.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Zur. Sorry to catch you flat-footed there. Just a reminder, next week is the 5th Monday of October, so there will be no meeting. And second item, kind of fitting to be able to present this to you tonight since it's the second read of the budget. We did receive notice last week that through the incredible efforts of your finance director and your communications director and a number of others, for the 19th straight year, we will be winning the Budget Presentation Award. So very proud of my staff in getting that together. That concludes staff reports this evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anything from Mr. Feuerborn? Okay. We'll move right along. We have no committee reports. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we just have the one item for the council meeting minutes for October the 9th. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Abdel-Gawad.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, including item A, City Council meeting minutes for October 9th, 2023.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Motion been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Okay, please have the second reading of Bill 3853 by title only.
The second reading of Bill 3853 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving the fiscal year 2024 budget.
I'll pause a moment since this is such a significant item to see if there's any questions of staff before we move on. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Abdel-Gawad.
I move that we approve Bill 3853, the adoption of the fiscal year 2024 city budget as amended at the October 9th, 2023 council meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3853, the adoption of the FY 2024 city budget. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3844 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3844 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into a lease agreement with Youth Scoreboards LLC for the lease of 4 sections of property within Recreation Park to be used for scoreboards at the baseball softball complex.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Zur, is there a particular spot in here, or is it during the motion that we need to make that amendment?
It will simply be an adjustment to Section 2.1, and we can do that before final execution tomorrow. It is simply a Scrivener's error. I don't think the council will need to have an actual amendment for it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Feuerborn, did you have anything else on that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you to Councilmember Baker for your eagle eye on this particular item, sir.
If there's no further discussion, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Abdelgawad?
I move that we approve Bill 3844, the Youth Scoreboards Lease Agreement.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3844. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Okay, please have the second reading of Bill 3852 by title only.
The second reading of Bill 3852 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing an agreement with Brandy Electric Company to install electrical service at Recreation Park for scoreboards in the amount of $29,000.
Thank you, ma'am. If there's no further discussion or no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item. Ms. Abdelgawad?
Sorry. I move that we approve Bill 3852, electrical service for the youth scoreboards.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3852. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Okay, please have the second reading of Bill 3849 by title only.
The second reading of Bill 3849 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, granting a 10-foot wide utility easement to Evergy Metro, Inc. for city-owned property containing approximately 0.092 acres of land located within Memorial Park, Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Thank you. If there's no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Abdelgawad?
I move that we approve Bill 3849, the Memorial Park electrical easement.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3849. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. And the last item under old business, could I please have the second reading of Bill 3845 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3845 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the fiscal year 2023 operating budget.
If there are no further questions on this item, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of it.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Abdelgawad?
I move that we approve Bill 3845, budget amendments for the fiscal year 2023 operating adjustments.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3845. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. That concludes old business. There is no new business on the agenda this evening, so we'll move along to public comments. If anyone from the public would like to address the council at this time, please step forward, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. I see nobody diving at the podium, so we'll move on to Mayor Council Communications this evening. Mr. Barber, I'll start with you this evening, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to congratulate Mr. Fairborn and his staff for winning the budget award, the 19th. Now, Mr. Fairborn, how long have you been with the city?
19 years.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, what a coincidence. I ask that every year, I think, but anyway, great job. No, it's a lot of hard work. Seriously, when I came on the council, Mr. Fairborn drilled in my head how important that document is, and it is really how we run our city and the way we run our city, and everything in there is not put in there just to be put in there. There's a purpose for it. So thanks again for your staff and all the hard work.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Abdelgawad.
Thank you, sir. Ditto those remarks.
Mr. Ingert.
Same from this end, but I want to get a rumor clarified if I could. I understand Friday morning you had a difficult time keeping all the employees awake around 9 o'clock in the morning.
Many thanks to the Morning View residents who provided the upstairs staff with biscuits and gravy, a dangerous combination to begin the workday on. It was taken advantage of quite well.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will also concur my fellow council members' comments about the budget and the award. That document is very impressive. I urge the citizens of Raymore to visit our website and look at it as well to get information about what's happening in the city, present and future there. Also, I'd like to give recognition to the Parks and Recreation Department. the board and to Melissa for the 3 amphitheater concerts this year. I think all of them were very successful. Weather-wise was a challenge, either hot or cold, but looking forward to seeing what we can do next year with that venue and get more things going for our citizens to attend those type of events. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Townsend?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Apparently, I have to get the Marines here to help with that event, so.
That's right.
We'll see what we can do on that, but,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. I also like to echo the comments of my council members, fellow council members. Congratulations to staff, Mr. Fairborn, on the 19 years of distinguished fiscal and financial reporting. Definitely to Mr. Baker's comments, the budget that's presented is easy to read. Looking at some of the others I have to look at pales in comparison to this version, and how it's organized and assembled, easy to find and digest exactly where the money's going. So I appreciate that. Also, just a question I probably could have asked it during the Public Works or just doing staff report. I noticed in front of the Raymore Galleria, Raymore Journal building, the strip mall that's there with the salon and such, there's a rezoning sign, but I don't see anything on our projects page that says what's coming or what's going on there.
Mr. Eppert is already reaching for his microphone, so I'll let him answer your questions.
Thank you, sir. So that's actually a conditional use permit in front of the old Raymore Journal. Without going into too much detail, there will be a planning and zoning public hearing on the 7th of November. It's regarding the pole sign that is there, and the time has lapsed for a user to be in that building, and so therefore it became a code violation.
Okay.
And in our code, it specifies that the applicant can come through with a conditional use permit. So.
I see. Usually when I see those yellow rezoning signs out, there's somebody coming, so I was just curious what was happening there. So thank you for that. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Forster?
Thank you. I have no comments.
And Mr. Burke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to give my personal thanks to Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, to Senator Rick Bratton, Representative Sherry Gallick, and Representative Mike Hafner for coming out to Harrisonville High School yesterday. They were officiating over the deployment ceremony of the 1251st Transportation Company out of Harrisonville, and they are going to the southwest border for their mission. And I really want to thank the leadership of the Missouri National Guard, as well as the company battalion leadership as well. I know they're going to go down and successfully meet their mission parameters and come back safely. So I wanted to thank them for coming out.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Holman?
Two things, sir. I concur with the comments that have been made. A follow-on to Councilmember Barber's comments. Mr. Fairborn, you've been here 19 years. What was the position you hired in at with the city?
It's so long ago now, sir, but I think it was the finance director.
Another interesting coincidence. Okay, yeah, just thought I'd check. And I think Mr. Fairborn kind of put him on the spot again, but the Morning View community is a true community, and it is a community within a community. Those people have a sense of community service like nobody knows. Not only did they bring breakfast, but they've done these kinds of things before, and all summer long, I believe, they brought fresh produce up for the staff here as well. That group is one of a kind, and I'm proud to be part of a community that is led by Mr. Engert over there as their president of the HOA, correct? President of the HOA, is that correct? He's certainly their leader, and they do some really fantastic things, very selfless things. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I will also echo those comments about the budget. And I know especially this year, while in preparation for your 20th, hopefully it'll be your 20th award, with us fighting the landfill like we're doing, I've been in the City Hall much more of late, and I saw through the spring months and the beginning of summer how hard the staff and Mr. Fairborn work on the budget. And frankly, between the strategies for fighting the landfill and putting the budget together, I saw the angst with which everyone was working, and under stressful environment that has been created for us. And I want to tell everyone how much I appreciate their steady hand in running the city and the leadership on the landfill team, Ms. Harmer, Mr. Murdoch, Mr. Fearborn, Mr. Zur, and myself. They really are dedicated to that. And oftentimes when we were strategizing about that, there would be times that Mr. Fearborn would say, I'm sorry, I have to set this aside. We've got to work on the budget. I've got meetings today. And then we would move on and give him the crib notes at the end. But that's how serious he takes the budget for the city and how well Ms. Williams and he worked together to put that in such a wonderful format that is easy enough for us to read and is compactful enough to know that the taxpayers' dollars are taken care of very carefully, I will say. And so thank you to you, and congrats on the 19th. I expect a 20th, even though we've had a lot of things come up this last spring in preparation for the budget year, but thank you for all of that. And let's see, what else was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say. Oh, this Thursday night, I'm sorry I didn't get this information out to you sooner. I know you were invited to the MML Civic Leadership Awards banquet that's going on in Liberty, but this year our recipient will be Mr. Steve Troutman, the chair of the Parks Board, for all the good and hard work that he's done over the years. Mr. Mustine and his staff did a wonderful job of putting together a nomination, and I think Ms. Harmer worked on it as well, a nomination packet that will be that was very glowing about Mr. Troutman and the work that he does as a volunteer. So he will be receiving the Ray Moore's MML Leadership Award this year. So I wanted to let you know that. And that's all I have at this time. I believe we have a reason to move into executive session.
We do, sir, for litigation.
All right, I'd entertain a motion for that.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Delgado.
I move that we move into executive session to discuss litigation.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, sir. Motion's been made and seconded to move into executive session. Could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Abdelgawad?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Barber?
Yes.
Councilmember Burke?
Yes.
Councilmember Ingert?
Yes.
Councilmember Forster?
Yes.
Councilmember Holman?
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend?
We now move into executive session upon completion of executive